So we're here at Wildlife Home number 2, Dwayne Hickson's site at the Belham River mouth. I'm Mike Pienkowski of the UK Overseas Territories Conservation Forum. I'm one of the leaders of the project. And with me is Ajhermae White, who is the lead project officer from Montserrat National Trust and the Department of Environment. And behind the camera, the voice you may hear, is Anne Pienkowski, who is the producer and director of this series. We'll be speaking at a separate time, we hope, with Dwayne about his perception of the site, but for now we'll talk about the work that's been going on from the project to assist that. So, first of all, Ajhermae, what do you think is special about this site in the suite of sites within Wildlife Homes?
Well, this site is very interesting because it has a range of habitats in one small area. We have the coastal wetland, we have the beachfront, we also have an open grassland and a few small ponds within the grassland as well. We also have little areas of dry shrub forest that all of those habitats together combined host a variety of different animals such as birds and insects and so on, and it's become quite a biodiversity hotspot actually.
Thank you. And can you tell me what work the project office has been doing on the site now?
So on this site, what we did initially is a plant survey where we recorded plants within random plots. We also did invertebrate surveys on this site as well, where we recorded the flies and the butterflies and all the other insects that we see on flowers and plants, and that helped us to determine the types of pollinators that we could find in this area and what plants can benefit from them.
Yeah, and I'll add that what I used to be a bird researcher, have been interesting, is the habitat provision here for migratory shorebirds and other waterfowl, and indeed resident ones too. So we're standing above what would have been the sea here before the ash filling, and now the ponds which used to be here have effectively been recreated by excavation. Here, a big one here, and there's some smaller ones further over, and sometimes there's flooding as well. And as soon as Dwayne Hickson opened up some of these little hollows, then we have migrant birds coming in, obviously looking for somewhere to feed up to fuel their onward migrations. So it's a particularly interesting site from that point of view, and the other aspects, as Ajhermae said.
I first visited this site, I think, in 2017, before any of the excavation occurred, and even some little scrapes at that time. We immediately had some very interesting migrant shorebirds coming in. Looking behind you now, this pond, which was fairly open in just over a year ago, now seems to have rather a lot of weeds in it and very little open water. Would you like to be able to explain some of that to us, Ajhermae?
So what we have as the major dominating plant in the pond is the cattail, also known as the bulrush, and they seem to grow very quickly in the ponds, and they spread as well. They grow by rhizomes, and it's very hard to get rid of them. You can't just chop them and think they'll die. They would spread very quickly. And so we noticed that especially in the shallow areas of the pond, they are just taking over and they spread super quickly. And along the banks, we're also noticing some sedges as well that are taking over. We also have other invasives around the pond like castor plants and neem. And we've been monitoring this during the time we've been here, and we've been trying to see ways that we could manage this area so that it could still maintain a habitat for other wetland birds and different insects as well.
Yes, I can see behind you another invasive, the Casuarina. I noticed that when Dwayne Hickson first started developing this site, the whole area was covered with Casuarinas, and he's managed to get rid of a lot of them. Are single ones like that going to be a problem in the future?
Probably not if you manage the area, but if you were to leave it, you could expect that some others would start popping up now and then. But this one was left, I guess, as like a feature of the pond. It's possible that maybe it could be replaced by another plant, maybe more native. But for now, it does allow for some birds to perch there, like the grey kingbird, when they're trying to catch the dragonflies that they see flying around the pond.
So in a more natural situation, of course, the sea breaking in, the flow of the river would actually keep some areas clear. Because we're not in that natural situation now, we're trying to recreate something near natural, then that requires some management of the water bodies, removing vegetation, make sure that it doesn't silt up, keep shallow areas available at all stages of the water table. So that's part of how to manage this effectively, provide that near natural habitat for the wildlife.
So Ajhermae, you've been doing some fairly regular monitoring of the birds on this site. Have you noticed any changes to what you're seeing as the vegetation has taken over the open water areas?
Yes, actually. So we at the Department of Environment, we've been doing quarterly bird monitoring, and that has helped to feed in information for Darwin Wetland Project that's led by RSPB. And what we notice over the time being as the bulrushes have spread is that we are seeing that the common gallinules, they are multiplying very quickly because they seem to love the little areas that they could hide in between the bulrushes. We're also seeing another bird called the sora. That one is very elusive. It loves to hide in between the reeds. So it's very happy to have them around. And we're also noticing that some birds like the blue-winged teal, they like the open water to swim. However, this year around, we're actually seeing a lot more than we did last year. I'm not sure if that's because they're now finding the pond easier because it's been quite a while that the pond has existed here. And we're noticing that some birds, like the shorebirds, they aren't coming around as much as we would have liked them to because the banks are overgrown and they like the empty banks so that they're able to feed in the shallow water.
And also they like clear areas so they can see predators, yes. Which might threaten them. So yes, so the idea is to keep it mixed. I think the idea is not to remove all the reeds, but patches, so that both sorts of habitats are available. And then similarly in the smaller ponds, sort of cyclical arrangement.
Yes, also at this pond we've been seeing a lot of invertebrates and a lot of wildlife that's actually living inside the water. We're quite surprised how quickly these invertebrates have colonized this pond. We're seeing fish in this pond. We're not too sure what species yet, but we hope to find out soon. We're thinking maybe mullets. We also see many different invertebrates like water boatmen, back swimmers, shrimp. We're also seeing dragonfly nymphs, damselfly nymphs, mayfly nymphs, and there are many snails in the pond as well. They're very abundant, and this is one of the first sites we found caddisfly larvae in. And this is actually another site that we found the alligator flea in as well for the first time as well. So yeah, it's very biodiverse in the pond, and we hope that we continue to see more interesting things in there too.
It's a very exciting project, and we're very pleased also that Dwayne was one of the first people to join in when we had the pilot project in about 2017, and has stayed with it since. So we're grateful to him for that continued support through the various projects that have been happening.
And I guess that having seen how quickly the bulrushes grow up, you can start to think then about some feasible way of maintaining them, whether that be regular clearing of a smaller area and then just moving through gradually, because as you explained, it's a huge job to actually get rid of them. So control has to be the answer, I'm thinking.
Yes.
I think it helped considerably that Dwayne is professionally a builder, so he's got the equipment to help this. Yeah. It makes a very efficient operation.
And it's great that the site is being monitored so we can see how things progress. And you've already described a great deal of biodiversity that's happened since the area was dug out. Thank you.
So also want to mention that this area, it was partly naturally made and human made. So it was when there was a significant rain event in this area that caused like a large trench to be opened up, and we use that trench to basically expand the pond, and now we have this large pond here that's attracting all this biodiversity. So it's partly due to Dwayne's help, the RSPB and the Adopt a Home for Wildlife project that this area is what it is today.
Thank
Great.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think cooperation in all things is the best way to go.